And I'm all about it. Plus, I love to talk. I love to talk. I love it. So I think as much as Kathy loves to sing, I love to talk. I'm mesmerized by the word, the way that they shift our experience. And I've been a word junkie ever since I can remember. You know, in prose and poems and prayers, the ability for words to transform us, you know. It's not just their lyrical nature, but their ability to transform us, to take us places. And I'm pretty sure that's true for you, or you wouldn't be in this church where we honor words so much. And I love words for that transformative nature, that the right word at the right time can transform a heaven into a hell. You know, the right word at the right time. And I have seen miracles happen, you know, by the ability of the tones and the truths of an individual given a bit of airtime. You know, amazing things happen when we learn how to express ourselves. And that's what Voice Box is about, that's what Speakeasy is about. You know, in the religions that I came from, it was a triangle. There was a guy at the top, and you get what you get, and you don't get upset, and you're not supposed to question anything. But as we move into this, you know, this conversation, it's a circle, because everyone's voice is equally valuable. And the questions are important. It's important to ask your questions. So, the ability to express yourself with confidence, the ability to express yourself, in my mind, is equal to the ability to fly. Because it really will take you to places. You know this about books, you know. Mary works at Anderson's bookstore. And you know, we talked about Joe's ministry, bringing books to men and women who are in prison. Like, it literally gives us an escape. But if we recognize the power of our word, both written and spoken, it can transform your life. And I've taught my kids this from an early age. They don't listen to me. Only one listens to me. And she's the one who's, you know, no, I'm not kidding. They all listen to me, but my daughter Billy has really used the power of her word, written word, to bring to her amazing events. She wanted to go to this camp one time, and she couldn't go, so there was a contest about we couldn't afford it, and there was a contest about write an essay. And she wrote an essay, and the first year she got half the scholarship. The second year she went back for the full scholarship. She got the full scholarship the second year. Then she said it was a camp that was teaching her Italian, another written word, you know. So she went to the camp, she learned some Italian, that wasn't good enough. She wanted to go to Italy for 7 months in her, I think it was sophomore year. And my husband and I were like, who's going to foot that bill? Of course her word is going to foot that bill. So she, you know, she tried to go through a couple of different avenues, and one she was too young for, and the other one she didn't make the cutoff. But anyway, she found her way through the written word, and she said to my husband, you know, call up your friends in Italy, tell them I'm coming, and let's make this happen. And she made it happen. She spent 7 months living with this doctor and his family in Italy like a princess. We had to, you know, we had to break that down when she got home, like we were in a real little town. We don't hand out 50s every time you leave the house. Seriously, like she was so well cared for there. But for the power of her word, you know, it had nothing to do with me and my husband, except for that we gave her the wisdom of it. You know, Papa may have, Mama may have, but God bless the child that has its own, and you have your own by the nature of your word. This is important stuff. I'm pretty passionate about it. The interesting thing about the throat chakra is that, this is what the Course in Miracles says about the throat chakra. Well, let me just talk a little bit about the power of your words. Words are like seeds, right? If you plant beautiful words, you'll experience a beautiful, shining world. If you plant words of condemnation and criticism and complaining, you do the math. This is what's going to grow in your garden, right? No one escapes cause and effect when it comes to their word. Your spoken word and the thoughts that give rise to them are basically first cause, okay? If we truly understood what first cause was, and our ability to use first cause, we would be impeccable with our words. But we've acquired this tolerance, all of us had it, for sideways talking, for gossip, for watering down the truth, for exaggerations. I've been known to do that. Don't let a good story be ruined by the truth. Get exaggerated into something fantastic. You know, these are ways that we kind of, you know, we're not sharp with the word. If your words are the carving tools of your life, which they are, these bad habits are the very thing that will dull the blade. Okay? So these bad habits, I want to say bad, but these habits of exaggeration, of watering down your truth, of not speaking the words that need to be spoken at the proper time. These are the things that are going to dull the blade. And then we'll start to think, like, why aren't my words carrying any power with them? Because, well, we've dulled them. So we have to go back to recognizing how powerful our words are. And it's time to harness that power again, to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. We can handle it. We can handle it. Telling the truth actually helps us to stay in alignment with being that channel. When Al was talking about, a little snack there, Al? When Al was talking about the chakras, we use the idea of the chakras, but St. Francis is talking about the same thing when he says, make of me a channel of your peace. A full channel is something that's open and clear so that, God's wisdom can be delivered through us. A Course in Miracles has a way of saying it about honesty. It says, only the trusting can afford to be truly honest, for they can see its value. Honesty does not apply only to what you say. The term actually means consistency. So there's nothing you say that contradicts what you think, nor no thought that opposes any other thought. No act belies your word, and no word lacks agreement with another. Such are the truly honest. At no level are they in conflict with themselves. Boom! At no level are you in conflict with yourself. That you are just showing up exactly as you are, authentically, allowing yourself to be used exactly as you are. Remember, you're not responsible for the message. You are the messenger. You are the messenger in your ministry. And if you stay in alignment with this perfect love of God, it will channel through you, like St. Francis says, and you don't have to worry about what to say, where to go, what to do, because there is a wisdom within you that will direct you. It sounds kind of hard, I think, for some of us, because interestingly, the throat chakra is the one that gets the most blocked. But the throat chakra works together with all the other chakras. So when you start telling your truth, it actually invigorates all the other chakras. The reason I think, this is my theory, that we have this blockage is that we are immersed in a society that says, like, what are you, crazy? What are you thinking? What are you saying? You don't know what you're talking about. You're so stupid. Shut down, pipe down. Mom used to always say pipe down. Zip it up. You know what I mean? These things can devastate our chakras at an early age. And we start to think, like, I have nothing to say. Nobody wants to hear from me. My words don't mean anything. My words don't matter. We start to think my words don't matter. Many of us have had situations as we come through life where we spoke words and they weren't honored. So we start to think, I said no, and that still happened. Or I spoke my truth and it still went the other way. So we have these unforgivenesses around the world not, showing up in the way that we want it to, but still we have to heal that. Still we have to find within those circumstances where there was a blessing. And sometimes the blessing is to know that although the world said no when you were ready for a yes, that was just a redirection or a place where it made you even more aware of what your truth was. Do you know what I'm saying? So the world, when I was an actress, I got a lot of no's, but it didn't stop me. It just made me more aware that this is really what I want. Sometimes you get a no and you think, oh my gosh, that really meant a lot to me. And so that's good information to have. It's one way that it works for you. So, the words we express return to us in form. Words matter. So it's not only important that we find our voice, but that we use our words for good. The third commandment is honor thou shalt not use the Lord's name in vain. And for many of us, we think, well, that we shouldn't say GD, But really, when we say the Lord's name in vain, we're talking about the great I am statement. When we use the Lord's name in vain, we're saying, I am broken, I am tired, I am, confused, I am frustrated. The way we can heal that, because sometimes that might be the temporary truth for you, you could just add to that right now. But I'm going to pass through this. I'm confused right now, but I'm going to pass through it. It's not something I am claiming and holding on to. It's not my identity. My identity is I am one with God, and my good is at hand. So the I am statement is a very powerful declaration, and Jesus says it's done unto you as you believe. So it will bring to you the outpicturing of your experience. As we speak our truth, we empower the truth to be revealed to us. And the blocks are not just with the blocks are continuing to get stuck in these blind spots of being confused or being tired or like owning those things, forgotten, bewildered, and so on. So the I am statement is very powerful. There is self-doubt, confusion, and reliving the past. Okay. So self-doubt, confusion, and reliving the past. You can take your spiritual temperature when you're in the shower, because in the shower, nobody else is around. It's like the holy modern confessional. And if you're in the shower and you're like, and there's a whole bunch of people in there that you're yelling at, I should have said this, I should have said that, or you're reliving these past experiences, it's the perfect time for you to say, look at what I'm reliving here. Let me literally wash that away. That's why I'm in the shower. That's why it comes up in the shower. The universe wants you to wash that down the drain. Cleanse yourself of that. You know what the shower's optimal use is for? Anybody? Singing. No, Doug, not that. Singing. We should be singing in the shower. Sing out loud, sing out strong. So this is a great way to take our spiritual temperature. Let all of that be washed down the drain. Like, make a commitment to yourself that you're going to cleanse all that old story and move into the new story. So the question for the throat chakra are, how comfortable am I in expressing myself? How comfortable am I with the sound of my own voice? Do you enjoy wordplay? Do you get sore throats, tight jaws, or stiff neck? Do you tend to lie or water down or sugarcoat or exaggerate the truth? Do you stammer or find yourself at a loss for words? Do you feel isolated or misunderstood? There is, which I haven't been sharing in the last couple of weeks, but there are actually chants that you can do to clear your chakras. And for the heart, it's yum. So imagine that anytime you see something that lights your heart up, you can just yum, 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 yum. And for the throat chakra, funny enough, it's hum. Hum. That's how you're supposed to do it. But it really reminds us that humming is actually good for your throat chakra, but also good for your entire body. There's a vagus nerve that runs down your entire body. It's the largest nerve that we have in our body. And when we hum, it's like you're giving yourself an internal massage by humming. And humming can be the precursor to us finding our voice again. So see if you can hum a little during this holiday season of humming. When I was a kid, I had a really bad speech impediment. And I also had dyslexia. So words were actually a big struggle for me. Finding and making sense of these wiggles on the page. It was hard for me to actually decode words. And so I had to pay special attention to the teacher, the way that she spoke and the way that she used her body. And I got better at deciphering the codes and the coding on a page, but it was still, listening was still my preferred mode of learning, So I had this funny way of talking when I was a little kid. I was from New Jersey, I'd say, Ma, can I go play with the goyles? And then she said yes, and I got to play with the goyles. The goyles would say, what's your name? I'd say, Mooween. And they'd say, Mooween? And I'd say, no, Mooween. Because I couldn't hear. I literally couldn't hear. I couldn't hear the sound, so I had to become impeccable at listening. So my mother sent me to a speech therapist and a specialist, and I learned how to enunciate my R's. And then I went to my first, acting coach in New York, and she beat the Jersey accent out of me, When I'm angry or tired, you can still hear it. But, and I would say, well, what do you mean? What do you think I talk funny? What's wrong with the way I'm talking? I'm like, the way I'm talking. There's no way I was going to book a job at that point. I'd be like, my dad talks like this too. And my friends would say to me, Maureen, your dad talks like Elmer Fudd. And I go, what? And my dad would go, Maureen, are you sleeping? And I go, oh my God, it does sound like Elmer Fudd. And then I'd say, my dad said to me one time, Maureen, I want to be in the movie business with you. After he was retired from being an electrician. He said, I want to be in the movies. I said, okay, great, Dad, hold up this thing of syrup and say, this is really good syrup. We were eating breakfast together. And he holds up the syrup and says, this is really good syrup. Oh no! We've got a Pygmalion situation on our hands. Anyway, so so I had to learn how to be an impeccable listener. That's how I learned how to speak properly. It was by listening, you know. And most people, the art of listening, we lose it. You know, most people can't really hear because they're not listening to each other. They're thinking about what they're going to say next. So listening is an art form, and it helps us to be better with our word when we're actually honoring the words of others. To listen also to your small internal voice. Listen. Last week we talked about the heart chakra and what the heart was telling us, but now it's like, how do we speak from that place of our heart? And when we begin to speak from that place of our heart, we get to see where there are blocks. You know, we might not always see it up front, but as we move forward, we'll see it. So I had this situation when I was an actress in New York. I was in my first film. It was with Sandra Bullock, and we were both, you know, quote unquote, like nobodies. We were new to the industry. Neither of us were in Screen Actors Guild. And we were driving in a cab to go to this movie that we were making together. And non-union, and she said to me, I am going to be a name actress. And I thought, wow, wouldn't you just be happy to work? You know, those were the thoughts I was thinking. And I came from a blue-collar background, so leaving my blue-collar background was like leaving my tribe. Like, I couldn't imagine being a name actress. You know, that almost felt like too big, right? So when I went throughout my career, I literally would say these words to people. When they'd say, what kind of acting are you? I'd say, I'm a blue-collar actress. I just go from job to job, gig to gig. And I worked all the time, but I really didn't make any more than my fireman brother or my teacher's sister, you know, because that was what I was capable of knowing for myself. And it wasn't until I got to Chicago, actually, and I went to an Under-Earners Anonymous meeting, believe it or not, where I was like, oh my God, we both chose exactly what we wanted, where we were comfortable. And so from that point on, I was like, well, I would like to be a named spiritual teacher. Why not? It's not too late. So, because we got to shed those fears, you know, we got to shed those fears and be bold, be open to be, you know, the boldest version of yourself. You're built and designed for it. So how about it, you know? Are you open to being completely used by God? And remember, like I said, you're not in charge of the message, you're just the messenger. And love will deliver. And love will deliver in the form that best delights the messenger. Because God wants his calling cards to be happy. You know, God dances through you if you're a dancer. God paints through you if you're a painter. God litigates through you if you're a lawyer. I was going to say God lies through you if you're a lawyer. That was me. Because I did say that, didn't I? I had to clean up my words. God talks through you if you're a talker. And you don't have to take the blame or shame for it anymore. You know, if you really turn it over to God. And so, we want to look at, like, where do I still have these barnacles of blind spots in regards to being that big for God? You know, and the truth is, it doesn't matter the scale that you're ready to play on. You know, God's been big for you. Why not be big for God? But the reason I mention that is because when we're from second kingdom of consciousness, where we say, I'm going to make this happen, I'm going to be a name actress, or I'm going to be recognized, it can come from that place of ego. But if you move into third kingdom of consciousness, where you just say, I'm a channel for God, then you're moving into a global awareness. Like, why wouldn't you? You know, why wouldn't you cause greater good in the world if you can? Why would you get stingy or small or scared when the optimal use of you would be something that could touch more people? You know, if you're delivering good stuff, like, why wouldn't you want to deliver that in a bigger way? So this actually has to do with the throat chakra, because it's that place between, it's that small bridge between the heart and the head. The heart is there's no measure on it. It's just like, I'm going to do this. And the head says, to what degree? So the throat chakra has to find the truth and the comfort between those two voices. That's why it needs to be clear. Once you get really clear with your throat chakra, you know, you can have a greater marriage between love and law. And it can be more expansive. I hope you're getting what I'm laying down today. I'm not even sure I'm getting it. We'll talk about it in just a bit. So to help you honor your word, these are some ways to help you honor your word. Keep a journal. You know, keeping a journal is a really great way to honor the word. Tell your stories. Join it in a writer's group or in a book club. Work at a bookstore. Visit some bookstores. It said, I read this in Google, that reading the newspaper actually on the page Statistically, it's 70% reduces, let me read it. Research shows that when we read words on a page as opposed to on a tablet, it reduces our stress level by 70%. We also read more carefully on paper than we do on a tablet or on a laptop. So that's just interesting, you know, that reading can actually be a soothing and meditative thing to help us. And finally, use your affirmations, your holy affirmations. Don't just affirm yourself, you know, affirm yourself, yeah, but affirm your brother. Like, use your affirmations on your brothers and your sisters. Maya Angelou says, I'm convinced of this. Good done anywhere is good done everywhere. For a change, start by speaking to people rather than walking by them like they're stones that don't matter. As long as you're breathing, it's never too late to do some good. Isn't that beautiful? I mean, we really do pass by each other and pretend that we're not here. What's the harm with a, hey, good morning? I've tried it out. Most of the time you won't get a response. That didn't stop me. Make your words matter. You know, I'm investing in a world where people say good morning to each other. So I don't care how many times I got to knock at that door. I'm not taking it personally. Make your words matter because they will become the matter of your life. They will take form. So act like you know this. Don't waste your words. Get clear with your yes and your no. I have a video on YouTube that you can watch it called The Big Yes. Really important to know what you're saying yes to and know what you're saying no to. Say what you mean what you say, and don't say it mean. Try to be succinct. I don't have that issue. Try to be succinct is a good one. I like to ramble, I'm sorry. But, so, the question for that is, does this need to be said? Does this need to be said now? Does it need to be said now by me? These are great questions for you to get really clear about what is yours to say. Is it kind? Is it helpful? Is it true? Is it purposeful? Remember, ego speaks first and loudest. So let God lead the way. Like, lean back into the guidance of God and you'll know exactly what to say. And if you have nothing to say, then allow yourself to get comfortable in the awkwardness of silence. Because if you create and honor your silence, your words will hold greater weight and resin. Do you know what resin is? Resin comes from trees. And it's that sticky substance that's actually quite flammable. And so we use the word sticky, the word resin, because when your words hold resin, they become sticky. They have an impact. And they can be the very thing that lights someone up. We here at Speakeasy are about caring for each other. And also just care in general. So be careful, careful, careful with your words. Don't toss them around without care and consideration. Being impeccable will awaken a great trust in yourself and your ability to really honor your truth. And when you're running off at the mouth, you dull that most precious blade. So you're here to cut through the illusion of fear. That's what you're here to do. You're here to speak the truth and cut through the illusion of fear. And you're going to need that blade. I say to people often, you're not here to make friends. You're here to tell the truth. And if you tell the truth, whoever's standing around you will be your friend. You know, but if you try and make friends, you're going to start to conform yourself to their rule book. And you can't do that. You got to tell the truth. That's more important than making friends. So you have to cut through the illusion of fear. You're going to need that blade. Sometimes it will be the only thing that you have, and most times it will be all that you need. The Word has the ability to help blind men see, to help lame men walk, to help broken men be holy. That's empowering. That's really empowering. The world needs your truth and your words. So speak up and speak out and speak easy and know the power of your word and honor the power of your word. And don't worry if at first the pipes are rattly and the water comes out in spurts and sparks and rusty water. That's just the beginning of keeping a channel open. That's what it looks like for all of us, you know. First time I started using my word, I cried every single time. Don't worry, that's okay. You get over it. And then keep the channel open, and in time it will flow. It will flow. Like look at I can't stop talking. Don't feel turn it off. It will flow like water from a well cared for well. So let truth sink through you, and if you do, you too will set the world on fire. The end.
So what do you think? I would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below, or you can go ahead and sign up for our newsletter at speakeasyspiritualcommunity.com so we can keep the conversation going. because Speakeasy is all about engaging in engaging conversations. Everything is better when we all share our voice. I'm Maureen Muldoon, your spiritual vixen, reminding you to love more and fear less, and don't forget to laugh. What do you say?